Welcome to the program on principles of supply chain management. Here you will understand the basic concepts of supply chain management. If you are new to the supply chain field, you will clearly understand what are the steps involved or process involved from starting to end. And also it will give an idea what are all the subdomains available in the supply chain, and you can also focus on a particular area if you want to develop some supply chain skill, and if you are looking for a job in a particular subdomain, because supply chain as it is a very big ocean, and has multiple subdomain, and each one of this is also a big topic. Okay, in fact whatever slides we are going to see, each slide is a 2 to 10 hours program, but here I am trying to give a condensed version of supply chain management, so that you will get a clarity on what exactly is a supply chain management, considering end to end management. Possibly if you see any job portals for a supply chain professional, they expect the candidate to have a knowledge on end-to-end processes, and have a specific subtopic. They expect you to be a expert, means you should have a overall knowledge, and maybe you should select some subdomain under which you should become expert. For example, if you want to become a demand planner, you should focus more on demand management, but still you need to have overall process in the supply chain management, because supply chain management, no individual process can happen, and all these are linked. That's why we call this as a supply chain management. In fact, you might have seen some introduction about supply chain management in various online platform, but I have seen there is no comprehensive introduction to the supply chain management anywhere on the net. That's the reason why I have started this particular introductory program, so that it is beneficial to all entry level, and possibly even college students can benefit. You can understand what is supply chain management, what are the knowledge areas, and what are the job areas you can enter within the supply chain. Before digging into the topic, let me introduce myself. My name is Pattabhiraman. This is my LinkedIn profile. You are always welcome to connect or follow me. Coming to my background, I am an engineer with a post-graduation degree in management and data science. Of course, I am a mechanical engineer. Mechanical engineering and supply chain engineering is more or less closely related. That we will see as we progress further in this series of session. I have nearly 2.5 decades working experience in this large organization. I have started in the planning function of Bosch Bangalore unit and was working there for nearly 16 years. You can see majority of these companies are in automobile tier 1 supplier category. This is where the criticality comes. See, not all the supply chains are critical. Maybe some are highly critical, some are medium, and some are low. When I say critical, means is it possible to convince a customer of any delay without causing any disturbance to your customer? In case of a automobile tier 1 supplier, there is no such possibility. If you are not supplying your component, you are going to stop the line. And when it take it especially this is applicable for passenger car production. And in one of my previous function, we were supplying to both Hyundai as well as Ford climatic systems, okay, air conditioning system to them, and they were having a daily production of 2600 units of Hyundai and Ford at that point of a time. So you can imagine hourly production, even if you assume 50 to 100 units per hour, and if you are not in a position to supply one unit, then the line is going to stop. There is no alternate, because there is no storage allowed, and your product directly goes into the assembly point. Then there is no option. Whereas if you take my last organization, which is known as BISE, we were manufacturing machine tool for the construction sector. There is a possibility to go back to the customer and say there is some delay. You may have to wait either 2 or 3 days or 1 week. Possibly customer will not be impacted so much. He may say okay. So this is the difference between conventional supply chain and a supply chain related to continuous production. When I say automobile passenger car production, it's a continuous production, 3 shift, and if your component is not available, the line is going to stop. So I am coming from that background. I have learned a lot of things practically in terms of supply chain planning, how to ensure the availability of material at a customer place, so that we do not stop the customer line. Of course, this is not only a logistic aspect we are talking. It starts with our forecasting, then supply planning, and coordination with our internal production units, so that material is available at the right time in right quantity. Okay, here we are supplying to a customer where there is no storage or no counting, no quality checking. It directly goes to the assembly line. That's how is the critical of supply chain in some of the products, and some of the products it's medium critical, and some are not so much critical. Okay, so I am coming from such a background, and I have been working in different subdomains in the supply chain during my career. Okay, so at different level, different subdomain I have been working, and last 10 years in this global corporations I was heading the supply chain management. The last 4 years I have been working as a CEO of the current organization known as Thoughtware Training Private Limited. Coming to my certification, of course, if you are in the supply chain already, you should be knowing this. A famous world leading organization for supply chain certification is ASCM, Association for Supply Chain Management. It is earlier called APIX. They provide globally recognized certification. Of course, I will introduce this certification in the later part of my program, because if you are in the job market, having this type of certification will definitely help you in recognizing you as a professional, qualified, certified professional in supply chain management. The next similar certifying agency is called Demand Driven Institute. They are also based in US. They provide certification like DDPP, Demand Driven Planner Professional. I am also a certified purchasing manager, as well as project management professional, and I have a formal qualification in analytics domain. Coming to our organization, we are based in Bangalore, 4-year-old organization. We provide both consulting and training in the field of supply chain, analytics, logistics, and purchasing, and we are operating under a trade name of Expert ACM. Now coming to the supply chain, for any material on the earth, everything originates from earth and finally it goes back from the earth. It starts with extracting ores from the earth, and then it is getting converted to some sheets or rods or tubes or something like that, and then it is getting converted into some components, then some sub assembly, for example motors, compressors, and they are all some small level components, maybe engines like that. But as it is, you cannot use these items separately. For example, if you are manufacturing a refrigerator, compressor is required, so it comes from one vendor. Then there are some copper tubing required, electrical items, controls, everything is required. So it may come from several vendors before the assembly of a refrigerator can take place in a focus organization. Okay, once this is done, it reaches to the customer. Of course, it doesn't directly reach to the customer. There are several channels of distribution, and why we need all these channels of distribution we will see in this program. This is where you are going to see there is a lot of agency involved. In a simple form, supply chain looks like this. There are various participants in the supply chain to convert some raw material to finished products. Let it be any product. Okay, there is a raw material required which undergoes several stages of transformation before it is converted to finished product and reaches the consumer. You can see here a simple sketch starting from raw material. Of course, here it originates from earth, then it goes to some supplier, various supplier. They may be doing for example casting, forging, or sheet bending, fabrication, or they may do some sub-assembly before coming to the manufacturer. Here our focus of supply chain management is manufacturer, and in the later part of our program we will move towards distribution and retailing. That's where now current focus is there. But of course, without manufacturing there is no product. If you understand manufacturing supply chain, then it is easier to understand the distribution form of supply chain. Okay, once the item is ready from manufacturer, it goes to distributor or wholesaler or warehouses, the commission agents, then finally it goes to retailer, and then from retailer it goes to the customer. So this is a simple form of representing supply chain, but life is not so easy. More realistic, you can see there are several suppliers available because even a simple product requires hundreds of components coming from say 30-40 vendors located at different places. Maybe they also process or sub-assemble or add value before it comes to your plant. You can also see there may be several manufacturing plant, your organization sister concern, they will be doing some component before it comes to a final assembly plant, and then it goes to various distribution center, maybe central, regional, and then finally it goes to the retail outlet. Maybe if some of these suppliers or manufacturing plant is in overseas, then you will see that item has to come through various modes of transportation, maybe by air or sea or road or rail before it reaches to the distribution center. Okay, even this is a very simple representation, but what is more realistic is something like this. There are so many hundreds of people involved in the supply chain manufacturing doing some value addition. Why so many people are there? Possibly they are, each one is doing some value addition, and they have the capability or special skill to do their work. Even if you take any global corporation, they do not do 100% of the work inside the organization. They have to depend upon their vendor to provide some component or services, so that most of the organization they are into the final assembly, testing, and customer service. If you take even Apple manufacturer, they don't even touch the product, and 100% the product manufacturing is given to some contract manufacturer, where they do the complete assembly, and then it is distributed to various customer. Here you may see the role of Apple manufacturing is to design the system and ensure the material availability. Possibly they also provide the process knowledge, so that it happens as per the Apple manufacturer requirement. So in that situation, you can see there are so many vendors in the supply chain, and coordination is required. And now we are working in a global market, so there are a lot of transportation, customs, and other formalities are involved. Okay, we will continue in our next session. Thanks for watching. Bye.